I'm Nkoyo F. Lewis, and I'm a speaker, consultant, and a political figure. Yes, so I am an attorney by training and educator by heart. I spent my career advocating for women and children primarily, whether that was in education or in business. And after 10 years fighting the good fight as a lawyer, one of the things that I realized is that we need better laws that are more inclusive, laws that are actually beneficial to the vast majority. And so I have pivoted into speaking and consulting and running for office to make sure that we're building the society that we need for the future and that everyone has an opportunity to thrive. The most rewarding part of doing what I do is absolutely meeting people. Like, I've had an incredible opportunity to sit across the table from so many wonderful individuals who have really big ideas and help them turn those ideas into impact in a way that protects them, protects their legacy, and protects all of our opportunity to thrive. And so I've absolutely enjoyed working with the people that I've had the opportunity to work with. Yeah, so for me, the most difficult part of being an entrepreneur is one, just having like a million ideas and not always having the capacity to execute all of them, and having to prioritize and figure out how you make sure that your ideas, your innovation, and your cash flow keep up at a pace that allows you to keep growing. Yeah, working with Prestige has been incredible. I've always sort of had a fear of my numbers and sort of not wanted to look at them, not thinking about them. And I think with working with Prestige, it's definitely demystified some of what it takes to grow a profitable business, and, you know, prompted me to actually pay more attention to what I'm spending on, how I'm investing, and get more comfortable with the numbers. Yes. So, you know, despite being a business owner and having known that I need to be paying attention to certain things, when I stepped into the political space and ran my first campaign, I wasn't really thinking about the tax implications, making sure that I had all the filings together, that I was collecting all the W-9s, etc. And so I ended up with what felt like a colossal mess. But when I reached out to Prestige and Jayden, they were just so comforting that the problem could be solved, that we could create a solution and a strategy to move forward and get all of the things in place that needed to be in place. And now, as I'm running my second campaign, I'm actually doing that with better knowledge of what paperwork needs to be filed so I can stay on the good side of the IRS. And that's absolutely because Prestige was just generous and kind enough to allow me to be human and make mistakes and help me figure out how to solve them. So I met Jayden in two different facets of my life, honestly. So Jayden and I met for the first time as part of like a networking group. I had just had my first child, so he was like 6 months old, and I had to bring him with me to the meeting. We were in like some restaurant. I forget what the name of the restaurant was, but he was just so kind and positive and generous and like sweet to my child. And like, as a new mom, that was like really huge to have to be in a business setting as a woman with a baby and not feel like people were kind of shunning you or treating you like you shouldn't be there. So he was just very welcoming and kind and was like, hey, yeah, you know, we could work together, bring me your numbers. But at that point in time, when I was running my firm with the baby, I was like overwhelmed and like embarrassed that the firm wasn't just doing what it needed to be doing at that point in time. Jayden and I had an opportunity to like reconnect later, and have been able to do some really incredible work with even, you know, a whole group and industry of lawyers around making sure that they know more about how to manage their law practice, make sure they're keeping track of their IOLTA accounts, etc. And we got together to do some business. I was speaking and consulting at that time and wasn't really watching the numbers again. And so Jayden was so great to have a consultation with me and sort of talk with me about what we needed to be doing. And it's been uphill ever since. Yes. So I will tell you, and I'll tell anyone, especially if you're a practicing attorney, that everybody who has a CPA, everyone who does bookkeeping doesn't necessarily know what lawyers are required to do. They don't necessarily know and understand what an IOLTA account is. When I first started my law practice, I had a CPA and I thought everything was great until we started having conversations around the profit and loss time and figuring out where things went. And she was including stuff that was in my trust account on my profit and loss statement, and like not thinking about those things as a liability, but including it essentially as income. And that was probably one of the biggest red flags that I experienced. And we worked together for a period of time before I realized that she didn't understand what my legal obligations, what my ethical obligations were. And if you are in this field, you know that the one thing that you can lose your license over is messing around with your IOLTA account. And so working with Jayden, I never had to be concerned about that. I've been able to refer people to him in Prestige because I know that they know what they're doing. You know, he's been on and spoken at trainings that we've put on, and other organizations have put on. And so we know that he knows what he's doing. And it's always very comforting to be able to send other attorneys who maybe are on the wrong side of things happening in their IOLTA account to him, because we know that they're going to get really great service, great education, and that they'll ultimately get their accounts and things in place. Do it quickly. I absolutely think that if I had joined with Prestige earlier when I was running my law firm, that we might be in a very different place with that practice. And I know that Jayden and Prestige have a model that isn't just about your books and numbers, which is important, right? But they're helping attorneys actually build profitable businesses, to be able to catch more flights. And that is something that I know for a lot of us who are working in the practice of law, it's really challenging to be able to step away from that work and do other things. But he's absolutely building a new cohort of attorneys who are practicing differently, who are running more profitable practices, and who are having fun while they do it. And so if you're thinking about it, I would encourage you to book a call and jump on the bandwagon, and take your firm and your dreams to the next level.